Hey there, today I'm going to show you how to draw the Grand Warden from Clash of Clans. So we're going to start at the top of the face. I'm going to have the character standing, holding the book on the right side and holding the staff on the left. So we'll start at the top of the face with the eyebrows. So starting on the left, on the outside we're going to curve up and then down towards the center of the face. From here I'm going to curve up and in. Now let's go and do the opposite side. From the top we're going to curve down and then we're going to curve out towards the right. From here, let's draw the sides of the brow. So from here, we're going to curve up. Curve up on the right side. And you can see that it's almost like a big block shape. From the top left, we're going to curve up and then come down. Then from here, I'm just going to go straight into that center point there. From the right, we'll come down just a little bit. Again, mirroring what's happening on the left. Going up and then over to the right side. Okay, so we got the two brows. Let's get into the eyes. So on the left side here, just in the center of the brow, I'm going to draw a curve going up and down for the top of the eyelid. And we'll go in reverse. So starting on the end, coming down and then back up. Let's draw a little bit of an eye bag. So up in the corner here, I'm just going to curve down and out. Let's draw a pupil. So up on the top corner, I'm just going to draw sort of a half circle. I'm going to draw a tiny circle on the top corner for the highlight. We'll go ahead and color in the rest black. Let's go and draw the same thing on this side. So we're going to start on the inside of the eye, curving up and then down, and then drawing the opposite, coming down and then back up on the outside of the eye. We're going to go up here, draw sort of the half circle. We'll draw a little highlight, and we'll color everything else in black. Let's go and draw the eye bag here on the right. So curving down and out. From this point, I'm going to go into the wards of the nose. So on the right side, just because the face is sort of tilted that way, looking over towards the right a little bit, you can see the sort of the profile of the right side of the nose first. So up here, I'm going to curve in and out, just like a little wave. And then we're going to come down and round out the bottom of the nose. From here, I'm going to do a slight overlap and draw a little bump on the left. And on the right side, we're going to do the same thing here, this shape here, but just tucked in behind the tip of the nose like that. Let's go to the corners here and just draw a little frown line. So two little curves coming down on the other side. Okay, so we got the upper part of the face. Let's get into the mouth. So on the end here, I'm just going to draw a little curve, just sort of in line with these curves coming out of the nose. And I'm going to draw a curve for the mouth. So curving down in the middle, and then back up on the sides. Now here, just down here, I'm just going to draw a little, maybe up here, a little line like that, just to indicate the bottom lip. Let's get into the cheekbones. So up on this side of the face here, I'm going to start up by about halfway up the eyebrow. I'm going to curve out. From here, I'm going to curve in towards the mouth. On this side, you're not going to see that much of the temple. It's going to actually get tucked in behind this brow a little bit. So right about here, I'm going to curve down at the same height as I have on the left. And then we'll curve in towards the mouth. From here, these are going to curve in towards the beard. So we got a little beard here. So I'm going to draw that in first. Right under this lip line, I'm going to draw a curve that goes up and then curves back down. On the side here, I'm going to come down a little bit from the top and curve out like this. On the right, I'll do the same thing. And then from here, I'm going to draw a curve that's overlapping. Another overlapping line there. And then at the bottom here, I'm just going to go up here and just draw a big, long curve like that. From the cheekbones, I'm just going to go about halfway here and draw a curve going right into that beard. Over here, we'll do the same thing. So curving out like that. Okay, so we got the inner parts of the face. Let's go up to the top. So the temples are going to come up to the top into a widow's peak. So up in the center here, in between the eyes, I'm going to come up to about here. I'm going to put a little dot there. This is where the hair is going to kind of come into. So from the side here, I'm going to curve up. And then from this point, I'm going to curve, sharp curve right into that point. From here, I'm going to curve out to the right side. And then from here, I'm just going to tuck this in behind that eyebrow there. Let's draw a forehead wrinkle. So I'm just going to draw a curve that goes down, back up on the right side. Now from here, it's going to get a little bit tricky. I'm going to have to layer in some hair, draw in the antlers, and then the collar kind of comes up above the, on top of the face here. So let's start with the sideburns first. So on the side of the temple here, I'm going to draw a curve that goes in and kind of rounds out like this. So it kind of comes down, bulges out, and then pulls back on itself. We're going to do the same thing on the right side. So coming down and rounding out. I'm not going to connect it to the face because we're going to do a bunch of layers of hair here. On this side here, I'm going to come in a little bit, do an overlap, and just come in like that. On this side, I'll do the same thing. So overlapping and coming in like this. From the top, we're going to take this all the way to the top of the head. So here, I'm going to come up, I'm going to leave a little gap at the top of the head here. So I'm just going to come up like this, just over. And then at the top here, I'm going to draw a little bump, just like this. Over here on this right side, I'm going to come around and connect with the side of that hair there. In the middle here, I'm just going to show some strands of hair. So from the center point, I'm just going to curve over to the right, do a little overlap, do another curve like this, and then up here, I'm just going to curve over to the left side. Maybe do one more, just to show some hair strands. From the top, if you like, you can pull a couple down. One there, and maybe one more there. Okay, so we've got the hair. Let's do some antlers. So I'm going to keep the antlers pretty simple. I know they're kind of blocky shape, but I'm going to just round them out just to keep them simple. Up here, I'm going to curve up. I'm going to round out the tip of the antler, like this. Now I'm going to bring this back so it's evenly spaced out all the way through. On the bottom here, I'm just going to pull a little curve like this, and then tuck that back in behind the head. Over here, I'm just going to draw, I'm going to leave a gap at the top, just draw a little curve like that, just to show a little bit of a bend in the antler. Up here, I'm going to draw another antler just tucked in behind, so a little curve like that. Let's draw the same thing on the right side. So we're going to start with the front, top, curving up, rounding out at the top, and bring this down to right about here. I'm going to do that little bulge at the end, so bulging this out at the end, and then tucking that in behind the head. We'll do that little line there. And then back here, I'm going to draw a curve tucked in behind, just to show a little bit of extra antler. Okay, from here, I'm going to draw in the collar. So the collar overlaps on top of the hair. So what I'll do is I'll start on the side of the head here. I'm going to curve this around to the front. So starting on the side, round out, and come in back towards the chin. Let's do the same thing on the right side. So curving out, and then back in towards the chin. From here, now I can finish off the hair. I'm doing an overlap here, and just tuck that in behind the collar. Do the same thing on this side. Now from here, I'm going to draw in the inner part of the collar. So right up here, I'm just going to curve like that. On the right, I'll just curve this in like this. So it kind of looks like the inner trim of the collar there. Let's give a little bit of thickness to the collar. So from this corner, I'm going to go in an angle. So going out in an angle, up here, I'll do the same thing. So same length. I'm going to connect those 2 points with a curve, just following that same curve as I have on the top here. Let's do the same thing on this side, but in the opposite. So from here, I'm going to go out, and on the end, we'll go out. We'll connect those 2 points with a curve. Now from here, I'm going to take the inner part of the collar and come in. So from the top here on the left, I'm just going to curve and come down. From this corner, I'm going to go right into that same point. So coming in like this. From here, I'm going to imagine the side of the collar right about here, coming down in a curve. I'll connect those 2 points with a downward curve and going back up. Let's do the same thing on the right. So starting at the top, curve down to the same height that we have on the left. Go into that point there. Now right about here, I'm going to pull down the underside of the collar and connect those 2 points with a curve. Let's go ahead and draw the rest of the collar here. So here, from this point, I'm going to round out towards the center. I'm going to leave a gap in the middle. So I'm going to do that same curve on both sides. From here, I have a little gap. I'm just going to draw a V, just like that. Let's go ahead and draw the rope that connects the rope. So from here, just above or just below this V, I'm going to draw a curve. From left to right, I'm going to round out the ends, and then I'll connect those 2 bottoms with a curve. Now to make it look like rope, I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to just draw a curve like that. I'm just going to draw a series of curves. Go all the way across to make it look like the rope's been twisted around. Now to show the grommet that the rope is in, I'm going to start on the left side, just the inside here. I'm just going to circle around the rounded end. Go on the right side and we'll do the same thing in the opposite, going around like this. From here, I could probably finish off the hair. So right under this chin, I want to show a little bit of neck. So I'm going to go up here, just round out the inner part of the hair, and on the right side as well. Let's get into the shoulders. So I'm going to have to draw the tops of the shoulders. And the tunic is basically a piece of cloth that comes down and goes into the back into a cape. So I'm going to draw the top of the shoulders first. So from this point, I'm going to curve up and out on both sides, like this. Now this is going to come in towards the belt, but I need to draw the belt in first. So let's draw the big shield in the front. So underneath this rope, right about here, I'm going to draw a straight line going across. I'm going to come down with 2 short lines on either side, and then I'm going to go out. I'm going to extend the sides out. From here I'm going to come straight down, 2 short lines coming straight down. Now I'm going to start to curve towards the middle. So I'm going to find the center point right about here. I'm going to put a little point there. From this end, I'm going to curve and round up to that point. And then on the right, I'll slowly do the same thing. Now I want to give this thing a little bit of detail. So I'm just going to trace around, all the way around the frame. And when we color this in, we're just going to give it a separate color treatment. Going across like this. If you want to give a little bit of bend, I'm just going to draw a straight line down the middle like that. From here, let's draw the top edge of the belt. So I'm going to step down a little bit on the end here and curve out the top of the belt. Do the same thing on the right too. So 2 short lines coming down. On the ends here, I'm going to round out the belt. Like this. Now I'm going to take that belt bottom and just pull that right in behind that shield. Now from here, we're going to take these points and just curve them right into that belt. So from this side here, I'm going to curve in and come down, leaving a little bit of space on the end. I'm going to do the same thing on the right side, so leaving a little bit of space. From here I'm going to trim this out. So there's a trim from the inside. I'm just going to trace that same line. Again, like when you pull the pen towards you, it's easier to control the line rather than pushing away from you. So I find that it's easiest to pull the pen towards me. Okay, so we got that. Let's get into the actual skirt part here. So on the end of the belt here, right here, I'm going to pull a line down and curve out. So the bottom of the actual tunic will come down to about here. On this side, I'm going to do the same thing. So curving out to the same height roughly. Connect those 2 points with a curve coming down. And down in the middle, and then I'm just going to pull this up on the right side. Now let's finish this trim on both sides here. Just going to continue this on behind the belt. Go on the right and left. Curve like that. Now let's go ahead and draw in the shoes. Okay, so let's go and draw some shoes here. So there's a little, almost looks like a ski. It kind of points up on the end. So right here, I'm going to start by coming in an angle and then turning it up. That. So it's a little curve like this. I'm going to start from the point again. I'm just going to come back and just taper out so it's thicker all the way around. From this end here, I'm going to go out in an angle. So this is going to be the thickness of the front of the shoe. So I just got an angled line. From here, I'm going to curve and go right into that point. So it looks like the shoe is kind of curved like this. I'm going to keep the feet very simple. From here, I'm going to curve, and I'm going to round out and pull that back in for the toenail. From this point, I'm going to pull a line in underneath that skirt. From here, I'm going to go back like that. So it's the actual strap going in between the toes. Over here, I'm just going to draw a curve like this. And right up here, I'll do an overlap and pull that right underneath as well. And do the same thing over on this side. So let's start with the inside, curving out and up, and then making that thicker. So we're going to taper out, make this thicker along the bottom. Now for the toe, I'm going to curve out and in, and then just wrap this around for the first toe. That's the actual toenail. Curve a line out, both sides like this. Now here along the bottom, I'm going to go up in an angle, going up towards the right. From this tip, I'm going to curve it down. Now here, I just want to draw an indication of a pinky toe, and then fold that underneath the skirt. Okay, so we got that. Let's get into the arm here holding the book. So we're going to have to show a little bit of perspective with this book. Okay, so the book is actually tucked in behind the body going this way. So if this is the hip here, I'm going to have to draw the book kind of coming up in an angle this way. So starting around here, I'm going to come up in an angle. From here, I'm going to come straight down, so pulling the pen towards me. From here at the top, I'm going to come down a little bit and just draw a curve going towards the right side. I'm going to come up to the same height as I have here and come down with a straight line, ending at the same height here. Let's go ahead and connect those 2 points with a curve. From this end, this corner here, I'm going to come down at that same angle behind the body. This end, we're going to do that same line, but along the way, I'm going to have to stop and draw in some fingers. So let's go up here, come down a little bit. From this point, I'm going to round out and tuck this in behind the book. So that's one finger there. I'm going to go up here and do an overlap. Do another curve. Do one more here. And then one final one for the fourth finger. So back here, I'm just going to curve and tuck this in behind the fingers like that. Let's go ahead and trace the ends. So the corners here, there's going to be a little bit of almost like a hinge. So here, I come down and then come up in that same angle that I have there. In the center, I'm just going to draw a circle for a rivet. Over here, we'll do the same thing. Coming up, draw a little rivet there. On the end here, I'm just going to round out and curve the same curve that I have there. On the bottom, we'll do the same thing, just like that. Along the top, maybe just draw a trim like this. And on the end, going across, we'll probably do one along the spine, about halfway down the book, like that. Now, if you want, you can take this corner and pull it down behind this stack of pages. So coming in like this, just to give a little bit of perspective. And if you like, you can just pull a couple lines just to show some pages in there. Up here, I'm going to draw the shoulder coming down. So right about here, I'm going to come down on the tip of this sleeve, just round up the sleeve like this. From this corner, I'm going to pull this in behind that shoulder there. Okay, so we got the arm holding the book. Let's get onto this side holding the staff. So I'm going to have the hand holding the staff, so the hand overlaps the staff, overlapping the arm. So I'm going to have to draw the hand in first. So I'm going to just pick a point on my page on the left side of the body, right here. I'm going to draw the hand from this point. So starting with the first top finger, starting here at a point, I'm going to curve around like this. I'm going to do a similar thing to what I did on this side and just overlap a series of fingers, so curves. And do this for 4 fingers. So one last one here. Now from here, I'm going to take this little gap here, I'm going to pull a line going straight up. From here, I'm going to curve the top, and now I'm going to pull this straight down to right about there. Over here, I'm going to imagine this line coming down behind the fingers like that, connecting these 2 points with a curve that goes downwards. Over here, I'm going to draw on a thumb. So at the same height as this hand, I'm going to draw a curve that goes up like that. And if you like, you could draw some fingernails. Up here, I'll draw one curve like that for one. And this finger like that. Here and here. And then over on this side for the thumb, I'll draw a curve like that. Let's draw the palm side. So on the tip of the thumb here, I'm going to draw the palm. So just a little curve like that. From here, you could draw in some lines inside the handle. So up here, I'm just going to draw some even spaced curves and straight lines going across like this. So let's go ahead and draw the staff. So this is going to come up in a sort of like a wavy line up to the top of the gem. So from here, I'm just going to start from the top here. Put a point here. I'm going to come out with a curve. I'm going to pull this in. Now from this point, you can just do a series of kind of wavy curves coming down to that side of the staff. From the top here, I'm going to curve down and go up in an angle. And then I'll just curve up the tip. Now from here, I'm going to curve out and then come down. Here I'm going to do a little overlap, coming up like this. So it kind of looks like a claw holding the gem. From here I'm going to come down, curve in. Now from here I'm just going to curve around. Just bring that right into the base of that staff handle. Up here, if you just want to make it look like wood, you can just pull a couple lines like this. If you want, you can pull one down like that. A couple along there. Let's go ahead and draw the gemstone. Again, keeping this very simple. From this tip, I'm going to go up in an angle. From this tip, I'm going to come up in an angle. Now we've got 2 points here. I'm going to come up to a center point up here. So I'll put a little point there. Go up with straight lines up to that center point. And then from here at the middle, I'm just going to pull a little line like that. Let's go down here and draw on the bottom part of the staff. So from here, all you need to do is just pull sort of a wavy line coming down like this. On the left side, I'm going to do the same thing. So coming down, and then I'm just going to make it a little bit wider at the base, so it kind of spreads out this way. Along the bottom, I'm just going to connect these 2 points with the curve that comes down. Again, making it look like wood, I'm just going to pull a couple lines like this. Up here, I'll just pull one down. Now we're going to have to draw in the sleeve. So up here, this hand is going to the elbow, forearm, up to the sleeve here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from here, I'm going to curve up, and then I'm going to curve this right in underneath that tunic. From here, I'll come down to the armpit, and curve this in towards the hand. Now from here, I want to draw some cuff sleeve details. So from here, I'm just going to round out this detail like that. Here, if you want, you can show a little bit, again, because the body is sort of pointed that way, you can see a little bit more of the side on the left side. So here, I'm just going to do a little bulge coming out for the shirt underneath. Up here, I'm going to curve and pull this in behind the arm and behind the staff. This is going to be the inside of the tunic. This line, this curve that goes up, it's going to come down to the bottom of the cape. So imagine that curve coming down here and out to a point. So from this side, I'm going to curve behind the staff, continue this on behind like this, and now imagine this coming down on this side, because this sleeve is going to come down in that direction like so. Let's go ahead and put some fingernails on this side as well while we're at it. So just a couple curves on the tips of the fingers. And that is pretty much it. There we have it. There's the Grand Warden from Clash of Clans. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please give us a like, share this with your friends, and make sure you check out our Clash of Clans playlist. I have a ton of characters in there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.